It's a beautiful Sunday evening, and we are glad to have you join us on Kwara TV News tonight. I am Ganiat Ilufoya Didich, and reading me from the English desk.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Kwara TV News tonight. I am Zakaria Surakat.
And from the languages desk.
Ekube Lozani, Ekube Fe, la barra de television qui Kwara ne chifu ya akpata akubona na la barra chibe ni Fatima Mohammed.
Ẹ̀kálẹ́ àsìkò ìsinmi ọjọ́ òní ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ló ń dé sójú rẹ̀ láti lè ṣe móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó kalẹ̀ sí àpáta Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin ẹlẹ́rìí ọ̀hún lórí StarTime channels 113 Free TV channels 502 àti bó ṣe ń lọ lọ́wọ́ lórí Facebook pẹ̀lú YouTube @Kwara TV. Fọláṣadé Ọ̀dẹ́làbí ni oníròyìn ẹ máa bá wa kálọ.
This is Kwara TV News coming to you live from Apata Yakuba in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. You can watch us on StarTime 113, Free TV 502. You can also join us on Facebook Live. The federal government has filed a 3-count charge against the former Nigerian ambassador to Zambia, Ambassador Onwambueke Omeneyi, and Uguma Major over alleged cybercrime offences. It was learned that the case had been assigned to Justice Rita Ofili Ajumagobia, who has scheduled it for January 13 for possible arraignment of the defendant. In the charge signed by the federal government, Gabriel of the Directorate of the Legal Services at the Nigerian Police Force Headquarters, Abuja, Ambassador Onwambueke Omeneyi, aged 58 years, of number 158 Unorom Street, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, and Uduma Christian, mayor of number 1 Godi Agbabas Avenue, mile 50, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, on or about the 22nd day of March 2025, did public statement on the top trend Nigeria online newspaper, Facebook, and other social media platform that Chief Dr. Emmanuel Ogai, a prominent Nigerian industrialist and the CEO of Frontfield Group of Companies, collided with other NYC staff to remove the name of Omeneyi Onwambueke from the national database of the NYC Abuja after completion of the National Youth Service Corps in 2005 batch, which statements are known to be false, knowing very well that the first defender, Omeneyi, did not complete a full-time education program at Ebonyi State University, EBSU, and was never qualified to participate in the 1-year compulsory National Youth Service Corps, NYC, and the statement were transmitted through computer networks intended to cause harm, criminal intimidation, danger, enmity, anxiety, hatred, and damage to the person of Chief Emmanuel Ogai, and thereby committed an offense punishable under Section 24(2) AB of the Prohibition 2024 as amended.
And now to Rivers State. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has returned to Port Harcourt following a recent trip abroad, though the purpose and location of the visit were not disclosed. The governor attended a church service on Sunday at St. Cyprian Anglican Church, Port Harcourt, to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Members' Day. His deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, and all the senior government officials were also present. The service marked the first public appearance of Fubara and his deputy since the fresh impeachment proceedings were initiated against him last Thursday by the Rivers State House of Assembly. The Armed Forces Remembrance Day service honors Nigerian servicemen and women who sacrificed their lives for the nation's unity and sovereignty, and includes prayers for the repose of the fallen and the safety of those still in active service. Despite the renewed political tension, Fubara and his administration have remained silent on the allegation of gross misconduct leveled against them by the State House of Assembly.
Christians have been charged to cultivate the habit of appreciating God in all their doings in order to receive more blessing this new year. The clergy pastor, David Adeni of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Agape Parish, Tawid Road area, Ilorin, gave the admonition in a sermon during the church service. Apuleti Wole was at the church service for Kwara TV News, and the report is presented from our studios.
In his ministration, Pastor David Adeniyi Adeniran emphasized that giving thanks to God is the only way to earn more blessing from Him, the Creator of heaven and earth. He urged the congregation to know that God appreciates whoever gives thanks to Him and rewards in manifolds. Referencing 1 Thessalonians verses 5 to 18, the clergy advised the congregation to have total submission and strong faith in addition to giving thanks to Him.
Our lives, the oxygen that we take in, how we move here and there, the provisions of God in our lives. So we need to appreciate God. I want to hold every congregation, every member of the Church of God to appreciate God this year the more.
Some of the worshippers who spoke with Kwara TV News described the sermon as timely.
Today's service is a very wonderful one because we have just entered the new year with happiness, with joy, and with good things. For the Lord God that has been keeping us throughout the last year and makes us to see this year, we need to appreciate Him.
This is the will of the Almighty God concerning us. God created us as human beings to give thanks to Him. That is the most important thing why God created us.
Is to cultivate the habit of giving thanks to God. Because if you look at last year, year 2025, we see that so many things happened in that year. But for us to be alive today, it's not by our power, not by our might, it's by the grace of God.
The church service featured choir ministrations and special prayer.
And now to education. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has accused President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration of abandoning Nigerian students studying overseas under the Bilateral Education Agreement (BEA), warning that the alleged neglect has left about 1,600 young Nigerians stranded without support. In a statement, Atiku said the BEA scholarship scheme was quietly annexed under Tinubu without notice to parents or words and without consideration for students already midway through their studies overseas. Describing the program as a diplomatic bridge now left broken, Atiku explained that the BEA, launched in 1993 and revitalized in 1999, was designed to enable Nigerian students pursue undergraduate and postgraduate education through agreements with partner countries. According to him, the decision has left students abroad without stipends, with unpaid allowances now running into thousands of dollars per student. He revealed that the hardship worsened between September and December 2023 when stipends were unpaid, before allowances were slashed by 56% in 2024 from $500 to $220 per month and later stopped entirely. The former vice president also criticized remarks attributed to Education Minister suggesting that students who were fed or could be financed to return home, saying the comments reduced years of study and sacrifice to an administrative inconvenience. He concluded that Nigerian scholars scattered across foreign campuses are still waiting not only for the stipend but for assurance that their country has not forgotten them.
The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has directed the stoppage of salaries of members of the Joint Health Sector Unions and the Assembly of Healthcare Professionals following the commencement of their strike on November 14, 2025. In a circular addressed to all chief medical directors and the medical directors of federal hospitals, the minister also ordered hospital leads to ensure that critical services such as accident and emergency care, labor ward and intensive care units continue to operate during the strike. The statement stated further that they ensure security of lives and property of everyone, including patients and staff. All members of staff who are willing to continue with their work must be allowed to go about their various duties unhindered or unmolested. It will be recalled that the JOSO strike, which began on November 14, 2025, involves health sector workers across federal facilities and has affected the delivery of some medical services nationwide.
Back to Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, the 22 Armored Brigade, Nigerian Army, has played host to dignitaries who include traditional chiefs, top government officials, heads of security formations and paramilitary organizations during its 2025 social activities. The event, which took place at the open field of the Sobi Cantonment in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, saw colorful display of the varying rich culture in Nigerian and West African extraction. Babatunde Jimba has more.
The West African Social Activities, WASA, is an annual event put together by the Nigerian Army to celebrate the diverse rich cultural heritage of Nigeria. The event brings together officers, soldiers, and their families, as well as members of host communities in a relaxed atmosphere to mark the end of the year activities. For the year 2025 edition, the 22 Armored Brigade, Sobi Cantonment Ilorin, played host to guests as officers and men of the Nigerian Army gathered for WASA celebration. In his remarks, the brigade commander, Brigadier General Nicholas Rume, who used the occasion to appraise the performance of the army in Kwara, Kogi, and Niger State, reassured the citizens of their safety. He renews the pledge of the army to combating all forms of crime and acts of criminality such as banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism, which are antithetical to the corporate existence of the Nigerian state.
Specific in terms, especially in Kwara State, I'll tell you that for this year has been, of course, a tumultuous one for both us and civilians. But we will know and notice that we've made some progress, a lot of progress, in fact, as far as banditry is concerned.
In his message, Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, who was represented by a special advisor on security, retired Brigadier General Saliu Tunde Bello, commended the gallantry of the officers and men of the brigade, who he noted have worked tirelessly to strengthen the integrity and safety of the Nigerian state in areas troubled by non-state actors.
The essence of the Nigerian Army social activities goes beyond festivity. It embodies the core values of camaraderie, teamwork, and shared purpose.
Some government functionaries and appointees spoke to Kwara TV News about the import and relevance of WASA.
One of the things that we've been undergoing recently is the issue of security, and for this to come into life, it means that yes, security is back, is being restored, and we are living our normal lives as individuals in the state.
It's kind of a synergy that we have. It shows that we are one, and we are doing the same job, and we are determined to make the state safer 2026.
The event featured presentation of souvenirs and awards to distinguished personnel and dignitaries, tug of war between barrack women and female soldiers, cultural dances, and lighting of bonfire. Babatunde Jimba, Kwara TV News.
You are still watching Kwara TV News. We are posting from some messages to return with more news. Do stay with us.
Thank you for staying with us on Kwara TV News tonight. Moving on, a civic organization Africa Center for Good Governance and Corruption-Free Communities has accused the plaintiff in a Lagos property dispute lawsuit, Henry Ugbonna Orabuchi, of spreading false narrative in the case. In a statement signed by its convener, Comrade Temitope Olubumi Joseph, the civic group said the court order had led to the sealing of a Lekki, Lagos property was issued by a Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court, not the Federal High Court, as claimed by the plaintiff. The group had earlier called for the investigation of the judge who issued the order for allegedly overreaching himself. In a statement published on January 5, 2026, Orabuchi reportedly ascribed the FCT High Court order to the Federal High Court, Abuja. Contrary to Orabuchi's claim, the Africa Center for Good Governance and Corruption-Free Communities urged him to desist from distorting facts of the case, insisting that the High Court of the FCT has no power to make such order over a land situated in Lagos. The High Court of a state or the FCT High Court for land in the FCT has exclusive original jurisdiction to hear and to determine disputes related to land within its own specific territorial boundaries as provided by the Land Use Act and the Constitution. The FCT High Court's jurisdiction is generally limited to matters and properties within the geopolitical area of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It lacks competence to abjugate over matters arising from or connected to other states, such as Lagos. The civic group demanded a probe into the activities of the FCT High Court judge, saying it clearly lacked the jurisdiction to issue an ex parte order to seal up a property in Lagos.
And moving on, Fuji musicians King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal Kwamwon has reportedly written a letter to Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun following his exclusion from the nomination processes to fill the vacant stool of Awujale of Ijebu-Land. Larry Olayinka, Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, made this known to newsmen. Olayinka via a post on his official X handle said Kwamwon in the letter to Governor Abiodun heard his grievance over the nomination process of candidates to fill the vacant stool of Awujale of Ijebu-Land, saying it must follow due process in the larger interest of justice. The popular musician, in a letter dated issued on to the Council of Wahab Keshi to SAN dated 8 January 2026 and addressed to the Ogun State Executive Council through Governor Abiodun, requested that steps be taken to reconsider his alleged preclusion from being considered for the nomination to the vacant stool of Awujale. The Fuji musician alleged that the leadership of the ruling house is planning to disenfranchise members who wish to participate in the exercise. Kwamwon further stated that all steps taken so far in the exercise through the Ijebu-Ode local government and the Fisegbua ruling house were wrongful and against the process. The musician also faulted the ruling house for instructing that candidate must pick up nomination forms and appear before a screening panel, expressing dissatisfaction that these directives, which he described as illegal, are unknown to the chieftaincy declaration and the Obas and the chief's laws.
In an unfortunate incident in Ogun, a fire outbreak has occurred at the mattress section of the Ogun Gwam Free Trade Zone, Okfa, Ogbesa. On Sunday, reports gathered that the fire was triggered by a gas explosion from a foam-producing company in the industrial park. The incident has reportedly caused chaos and fear among students living around the Obanla axis of the area. In a video obtained by our newsmen, students were seen running out of their hostels as the thick smoke covered the sky. An eyewitness, Chuwede Vincent, a student of the Ogun State Institute of Technology, Ogitech, Wesas, disclosed that there was a loud noise followed by smoke and fire. Vincent said it started around 8 a.m. in the morning. The company is very close to the hostel, but no hostel was affected. He noted that the fire service were on ground to curtail the fire. Reaching to the incident, President of the Student Union Government in Ogitech, Ilo Fadilu Temitope in a statement signed by its secretary Moses Josephine and PRO Sheikh Bettin Sunday and made available to newsmen called for calm among students, urging them to be vigilant and adhere strictly to safety measures. While relevant authorities and reportedly responding to the situation, the student union deemed it necessary to prioritize the safety and well-being of all students. As of the time of filing this report, there has not been any official statement on the cause of the incidents.
And moving on to Edo State, where the state governor, Monday Okwebolo, has said that decisive measures put in place against kidnapping, cultism and other crimes were already yielding results. He said his administration has made massive investment in modern security apparatus, intelligence gathering, and interagency collaboration to confront criminal elements head-on. The Edo governor was reacting to a protest by residents of Ekpoma, a southwest local government area. He said kidnapping was being seriously and strategically addressed, saying security operations are ongoing across the state. Governor Kwebolo noted that security matters were sensitive and not suitable for public debate. He said premature disclosures could undermine operational effectiveness. Declaring his respect for the constitutional right of citizens to protest, Okwebolo warned against attempt by unscrupulous individuals or groups to exploit public sentiment to destabilize the peace and security of the state. Okwebolo urged residents to remain calm, vigilant and law-abiding, as well as continue with their normal daily activities.
And now to Adamawa State. Adamawa State Police Command has enforced a ban on vehicles and power bikes racing as it warned motorists, commercial drivers and motorcycle riders to exercise caution on road across the state. The command stated that reckless driving, speeding, dangerous overtaking and illegal racing involving power bikes and vehicles are the major cause of accidents. In a statement signed by Suleiman Ngoruje, the state's police public relations officer, the command said the Commissioner of Police, Dan Kombo Morris, strongly cautioned the road users to adhere strictly to the traffic rules. Ngoruje confirmed that they have geared up to ensure that the ban on vehicle and power bikes racing on all public roads, warning that such acts pose grave danger to lives and properties. Consequently, the command has geared up to enforce the ban on power bikes and racing vehicles on all public roads in Adamawa State, as such acts pose grave danger to lives and properties. The statement added that any individual, group found engaging in these illegal activities will be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the law. The command also called on the public to assist in maintaining road safety by reporting reckless driving and other traffic offenses. Parents, transport union and vehicle owners were specifically advised to caution drivers and riders on the dangers of reckless behavior on roads.
And moving on to Katsina State, where the government has justified its reasons for initiating steps to secure the release of 70 persons suspected to have been involved in banditry-related offenses. Speaking in an interview with the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Dr. Nasiru Moazo, he said the release of the suspect was aimed at consolidating a peace deal entered into between communities affected by insecurity and repentant bandits. Moazo said the peace deal, which was entered into by at least 15 local government areas, had seen repentant bandits release about 1,000 persons who were abducted during various bandit operations. He said the release of the 70 suspects was similar to what occurs during the war period, where fighting groups exchanged prisoners. It will be recalled that an official letter has surfaced last week indicating that state government initiated steps to secure the release of suspected bandits who were facing criminal trial. The letter indicated that the ministry requested the intervention of the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee, ACJMC, to facilitate the release of the detained suspect. According to the letter, the proposed release of the suspect is aimed at facilitating their release from detention as one of the conditions precedent for the continuance of the peace accord deal signed between the frontline local government and the bandits. The letter also disclosed that a separate list of about 22 inmates currently facing trial before different high courts in the state was submitted with the aim of having them released under the same peace arrangements.
It is time to go on a short timeout now, and when we return, Kwara TV News continues. Please stay with us.
Thanks for staying tuned. Scores of sympathizers will include traditional chiefs, family members, friends, associates and co-workers of Dr. Abdulgafar Kamal Okulola, the late Executive Director of the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, NCAM, converged on the Fateh Primary School Ilorin to pray for the peaceful repose of his soul. Abuletibo Welewa report that the deceased, a grandchild of Sheikh Mohammed Kamaldeen, the founder of Ansarul Islam Society of Nigeria, died at the age of 59. His report is presented from our studios.
Fateh Primary School in Ilorin, the venue of the Fidal for Engineer Dr. Abdulgafar Kamal, the late Executive Director of INCAM, witnessed the convergence of people from all walks of life. The Imam of Masimba Mosque, Imam Labib Nababa, led the congregation at a special prayer session featuring recitation of the glorious Quran. In his sermon, the National Missioner of Ansarul Islam Society of Nigeria, Sheikh Annafi Ayara, reinforced the magnificent power of death, saying it is an instrument deployed by Allah to show his might, describing the deceased as a just leader and public officer who uses his office to impact many lives and communities. Sheikh Ayara cautions Muslims against recklessness and immoral acts. His view was corroborated by the chief imam of Offa, Sheikh Muhyiddin Salman, who charged the congregation to be careful, always urging them to leverage their goodwill for the betterment of the society. For some guests and relations who spoke to Kwara TV News, the late engineer Dr. Abdulgafar Kamal lived a very short but impactful life.
I knew him as a very pious person. He is the first child of the family, so he steered our lives.
He's been very cool right from childhood.
It's a trademark of humility, simplicity and civility.
Through his agency, Nigeria was able to come out with agricultural machines.
It was his time to go and he left.
They admonished the children to take solace in the affirmation of good deeds which many have attributed to their late father.
This is Allah's doing, and that's what Allah has done. We will continue to live and then die one day.
What God has recorded for him, he has achieved it. And may God continue to rest his soul in peace.
Aged 59 years, the late engineer Dr. Abdulgafar Okulola Kamal, a grandchild of Sheikh Muhammad Kamaluddin Al-Adabi, was until his transition to the great beyond the executive director of the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, INCAM. He is survived by wife, children, and relations.
May Allah rest the soul. Moving on to Kwara TV Sport Desk, Nigerian Super Eagles secured a 2-0 victory over Algeria in the 2025 African Cup of Nations quarterfinals on Saturday, booking a place in the semi-finals against the host nation, Morocco. Following the match, both teams' coach discussed factors that shaped the results. Super Eagles head coach Eric Chelle said the win reflected the players' discipline and adherence to the game plan. He highlighted the impact of Victor Osimhen opening goal in the 47th minute. The first goal was important. It released the pressure and gave us relief to play our football. Chelle said, "I am extremely proud of the boys. They are happy, focused and brave. We worked hard and my vision is clearly taking shape in this team." Chelle explained that Nigeria maintained composure throughout the first half, despite Algeria testing their patience. He also praised Akko Adams' finish for the second goal, describing it as a demonstration of efficiency in front of goal. The Nigerian coach also noted the team's defensive organization, which restricted Algeria's attempt to respond. The match saw Nigeria assert control through coordinated team play. Chelle's tactical approach enabled players such as Alex Nwobi, Bruno Onyebuchi and Frank Onyeka to contribute to the team's attacking and defensive phases. Nwobi's passing consequences initiated both goals, while Onyebuchi delivered the assist for Osimhen's header. The Super Eagles will face Morocco in the semi-finals at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat on Wednesday, seeking to advance to the AFCON finals.
And moving on to the world scene, with just days to go to Uganda's general election, streets in the capital, Kampala, are decked out in campaign posters for incumbent President Yoweri Museveni. The 81-year-old leader of the National Resistance Movement, NRM party, who has ruled the country since 1986, is seeking re-election despite his age and growing concern about his government's suppression of political opponents, human rights abuses and corruption scandals. Museveni's supporters remain steadfast. Lydia Nansagawawa, who is vice secretary of the NRM, says the opposition promise of a new country leaves a lot unknown. One of the Africa's oldest leaders, Museveni's government has changed the constitution twice to remove age and term limits to allow him to stand in the polls. The former rebel, he has been credited with stabilizing Uganda, promoting economic growth and combating HIV/AIDS. Ahead of the 15 January polls, the authorities have detained hundreds of opposition supporters. The election will again put Museveni against the 43-year-old pop star turned politician known as Bobby Wine. Rights group Amnesty International earlier this week accused Uganda security forces of launching a brutal campaign of repression against Wine supporters. And with that report from the foreign scene, we have come to the end of Kwara TV News from the English desk. Moving on now to the languages desk, Fatima is waiting. Good evening, Fatima.
Wachide ibe igizuma Kristi Janya na acheda ejinya etusopo kandundu na adibade aleri na dokuna gunimia iyawuro to de na ilu fidane Baamon David Adeniran Redeemed Christian Church of God na chi poyan taide ojine loruna ngache jin jawa fina to hino Egilabari Ablatif Owolewa na dan filuncho na wenke Baamon David Adeniran gangan ejindaya etusopwa kawai nga yana la angichi de aleri na dokuna go bebe bubu ijabu to ije ba tojo to de one nwa be jema ijiya na ape tusopoye amacha da ija yude kandondo ne unche la watu daga litafiyan Thessalonians bana undan shawara dina gan alayin gba kata da ikuku amacha jin ibo ayuman ne min zai ce ba zaɓe gila ba ya ji na ji wazin cin ke na bidan lokacin masa tune mancin ga ini gida ya ci sopoto aduwa ce biye jone soja agagwo ega nya etu gichija zejifi tumbayan gwamnati ne to walagin do chijo ni miyan shani ana wajiwe biye ije iyan yo to de na shani ya na nga beje ni miyan sobio na cheji ni lo na idota yan kin kwa na ba na chewu dandan jo to de kakai ni miyan kuso agun ni yan kin Nigeria na eji labari Babatunde Gimba owó ya kegan bi kendo de akya gan ya ngajin shiri no to de ne ngabo agun ekan to ìyàlẹ̀ ojo to de ba ko yan sha ni ya no fifili yan sobi o to de ba na atoji muri na yan gbon fayin ya wuru na na uche bazane zane commander no so to de na Nicholas Hume ga kegan fili uche nga nke ya da ejin uchi bo bi kando sojaji ejin wa kan ya zangi ni mi kin Kogi Kwara to yan Nigeria ne nke la igwa kun yan gba kegan alozumoji bi igwa kan da ba tabiya sapa ke zaila ne to tabiya dede ndo chijo to de na ne ni miyan izubwa gwamnatin Kwara Abdulrahman Abdulrazak na izasharu ya ce tiyan ito brigadier general Solu Tunde Belojin eko so ya ne nga dugu aga mu ya sojaja be kando to de aya tanchi to de poyin be igwa kan ba ranje ejoyin ito aji to de dana ne unchijin alikolia ke nu soja ni miyan kin Kwara dia gan gwamnati yankin Kwara ce jin zumato to de agande be ito anji ne ni miyan zai fi eto yan gwamnati na ba zafi gi labari ji ne agaga gan filin wucin to da to sha ni wuce ni eno to de goyin to de na ena beji ni me filin wucin ni ga yi area to aji kakai na ajin ya nusa na jidan ba wucin yona to gana sa na beji ta cin yan sojaji in zagi jo ne nimba ndochi na igan Wasiu Ayinde ne nga ka wasika loye bayan gwamna yankin Ogwanya Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún ke gan ewa gan ga sunan to de wa na wa de sina lachichi be zane to de ewa etuyan awigale yejiyan Ìjẹ̀bú to de na ne be kando to de unla wasika unchi da wa yan zana yi loya to de na shitu ne eto afogutota yin eto ayemofare anasara na ifida ne nga unlu tagwa lo ibayan gwamna Abiodun ganwe wa ganun la bichipe to dia be kando asuna won de wa chichi ni miyan zaneje wa isa yin eto to de yan awigale yejiyan Ìjẹ̀bú to de ne untagwa le fi tun katamba ko ni miyan ze wa eto de ne be kando wa ga sunna nwaya ne unchiga gan bichipe na jo to de account tetengi yen Ìjẹ̀bú to de la ne gan jin eno to de jin faida to de na ne unchila le fi abine izari agun bichi le fi ni miyan filiyan makanta chaba na chi efuyan fato ne na ni mi ajo to de yi etu gichiji eyaji ya leje to zaneji lo tunke ba kan le be Lekta Abdulgafar Kaman Okunlola na nusa yen gwalagine gan nkan na ya fidao to de ne Ablatif Owolewa na don filin uchona wuyan ke kuchunchi na yagi yan Sheikh Muhammad Kamadin zanen la emiguyan Ansar Islam to de chichine unjin ajele zumuna agun ege ya shita din nine nga gan ni miyan filin uchon to de wa ngabo ache na che jin ndana ye ndalima yan masingbana Labib na baba no shito de yan adua filin uchon to de ne nga ya gande be gbigba yan litafi yan alquran yan na unche jin wazi na zana mishena na sayan Ansar Islam to na a Sheikh Anafi Ayara nga gan kagbo de na sokode eti endondo na esun to de na unji kuchinye ke zana yi tisho to de na ejin gizumu jiwangi lokacin na undan jo ne Sheikh Ayara shi jin musulmi jo to de gargadi na akpi agande be ìjèlé náà tó dé gbé elisapa jìnnà mímìyàn ibà tó fi bo dàlímọ́nù sa yẹn ìjìyàn ọ̀fà àṣeyìk Muhyiddin Salman ohun tó dé náà wábẹ̀ jẹ̀mọ́ ìjìnà ganaga ankali tó aláfíà gẹ́ndé bẹ̀yẹn dondo na aga bí jìjì bí ìjò tó dé ọ̀nà zèjì kejì dán fili ń chọ̀ọ́ chi bàzà bí gíla bàrí ìjìnà agaji kuchi ń chọ̀ọ́ tó dé à nígbà náà ń ìjì náà ń lé náà ń jìnfà àmọ́ ń lu wàǹgì tó dé náà ń dán egi ujì ṣára náà àjẹ̀dá gẹ́ndé bí iná sọ̀kó tó dé lábẹ́ iná gẹ́gbó náà ǹdáhùn yìí zànà lé ìṣe gẹ́ndé bí alibó wàǹgì jì náà wòye ege ashita dinya kamar ke yi yagi yan Sheikh Muhammad Kamadin Alhadabi ga samun a kan wòye nusa yan yan kayan ya imini po egiji don ijo so hugun ya hujjun gafa labari bai lóṣọ níwọ̀n pàbọ̀ àmọ́ labari gan bai ṣe ní sóyà pé ǹgá ohun tó gbá ní Fọláṣadé
kò ṣe Fatima tí ìbá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń tàn móhùnmáwòrán yín ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrin lónìí lọ́wọ́ nílé iṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó kalẹ̀ sí àpáta Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin ìròyìn ọ̀hún rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers Siminalayi Fubara ti padà sí ìlú Port Harcourt lẹ́yìn tí ó ṣe àbẹ̀wò sí ìlú òyìnbó bí ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé kò sí ẹni tí ó mọ èrèdí tí ó fi lọ síbẹ̀. Gómìnà ló jọ́sìn nílé ìjọsìn Anglican kan nílùú Port Harcourt láti fi sàmì ọjọ́ àwọn ológun lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Igbákejì rẹ̀ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Ngozi Odu àti àwọn lọ́gàlọ́gà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ọba ìpínlẹ̀ náà bá a péjọ síbẹ̀. Èyí ni yóò jẹ́ ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ tí Fubara àti igbákejì rẹ̀ yóò farahàn níbi ayẹyẹ tàbí àpéjọ kankan lẹ́yìn tí àwọn ọmọ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers ti gbé ìgbésẹ̀ láti yọ ọ́ ní ipò ní ọjọ́ Àlàmísì ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá. Ọjọ́ ìṣèrántí àwọn ológun nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ni wọ́n yà sọ́tọ̀ láti fi mọ rírì àwọn akọni tí wọ́n ti sùn lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ológun kí wọ́n sì tún gbàdúrà fún àwọn tí wọ́n ṣì wà lójú iṣẹ́. Bí wàhálà ètò òṣèlú ṣe pọ̀ tó lákòókò yìí síbẹ̀ Fubara kò tí ì sọ ohunkóhun lórí àwọn ẹ̀sùn ọlọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan tí wọ́n fi kan ìṣèjọba rẹ̀ látọwọ́ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers. Àmọ́ wọ́n ti lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn Kìrìsìtẹ́nì láti ní ọkàn ìmoore sí Ọlọ́run nínú gbogbo tí wọ́n bá ń ṣe kí wọ́n sì lè rí ọ̀pọ̀ ìbùkún gbà sí ní ọdún tuntun yìí. Òjíṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run Pásítọ̀ David Adeniran ti ìjọ Redeemed Christian Church of God tó wà lágbègbè òpópónà Tawhid Fate ìlú Ìlọrin ló sọ̀rọ̀ àmọ̀ràn náà nínú ìjọsìn tòní. Abdulateef Owólẹ́wà bá wọn péjọ fún iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV tó sì jábọ̀ wípé nínú ìwàásù rẹ̀ Pásítọ̀ David Adeniran ṣàtẹnumọ́ ìnílò kí ènìyàn máa fi ọpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run nítorí òun nìkan ní ọ̀nà láti máa rí ìbùkún gbà lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run tó dá ọ̀run òun ayé. Ó rọ àwọn olùjọ́sìn láti mọ̀ wípé inú Ọlọ́run máa ń dùn sí ẹni tí ó bá mú ọpẹ́ fún un ní ìgbà gbogbo. Nígbà tí ó ń kà láti ní ìwé Tẹsalóníkà kínní orí 5 ẹsẹ̀ 5 sí 18, ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run náà gba àwọn olùjọ́sìn níyànjú láti jọ̀wọ́ gbogbo ayé wọn fún Ọlọ́run kí wọ́n sì ní ìgbàgbọ́ pẹ̀lú ọkàn ìmoore. Lára àwọn olùjọ́sìn tí wọ́n kọ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ṣàlàyé wípé ìwàásù náà bá ìgbà mu tí ó sì ta àwọn jí. Àwọn ohun mìíràn tí ó wáyé nínú ìsìn náà ni àdúrà pàtàkì àti orin láti ẹnu ẹgbẹ́ akọrin ìjọ. Ikọ̀ àwọn ọmọ ológun orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ẹ̀ka ti ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ni wọ́n gbàlejò àwọn ọ̀tọ̀kùlú ìlú, àwọn orí adé, àwọn orin ìlẹ̀kẹ̀, àwọn ọ̀gá lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ìjọba tó fi mọ́ àwọn ọ̀gá ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò mìíràn nínú ètò ọ̀sẹ̀ ètò ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú wọn ti ọdún 2025. Ètò náà ló wáyé nínú ọgbà àjọ ológun ti Sóbí nílùú Ìlọrin tí ń ṣe olú ìlú ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Òun lórí ìpéjú sí lórí oríṣiríṣi ìyàn bí ológun aláràǹbarà tó fi mọ́ ìgbélárugẹ àṣà nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà àti apá ìwọ̀ oòrùn Áfíríkà. Babátúndé Jimba wà níbẹ̀ fún iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV tó sì jábọ̀ wípé ètò nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú lẹ́kùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀ ló jẹ́ èyí tí ó máa ń wáyé lọ́dọọdún pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ológun láti ṣe àfihàn àṣà àti àwọn ohun àdáyébá ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ètò náà ló ṣàkóónú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ààbò àti àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí wọn tó fi mọ́ àwọn olùgbé agbègbè tí ètò náà ti wáyé. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀, ẹni tí ó jẹ́ kọmandáǹtì àjọ ológun pátá Brigadier General Nicholas Ryan lo àkókò náà láti fi mọ rírì iṣẹ́ takuntakun tí àjọ ọmọ ogun ń ṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara, ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi àti orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lápapọ̀ láti dáàbò bo ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá ará ìlú. Ó fọwọ́ ìfarajìn iléeṣẹ́ ológun sọ̀rọ̀ láti pakún ìṣiṣẹ́ wọn kí ìwà ọ̀daràn lè rodò lọ rèé mu omi bí ìjínigbé, ìdigunjalè àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, pẹ̀lú àfikún wípé ààyè kò ní gba àwọn afẹ̀míṣòfò mọ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ yìí àti ibòmíràn ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí nítorí àwọn yóò fi ara ní wọn. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, ẹni tí olùbádámọ̀ràn rẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ nípa ètò ààbò òṣèfẹ̀yìntì lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ológun Brigadier General Saliu Túndé Bello ṣojú fún sọ̀rọ̀ ìlú lọ́gọ̀ ẹnu fún iṣẹ́ àwọn ọmọ ogun náà bí wọ́n ṣe ń mójútó ètò ààbò orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Ó fọwọ́ ìfarajìn ìṣèjọba rẹ̀ sọ̀yà fún àwọn ológun láti ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn tí ó bá yẹ fún ìṣiṣẹ́ wọn ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Lára àwọn lọ́gàálọ́gàá lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ìjọba tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn Kwara TV sọ̀rọ̀ sọ iṣẹ́ pàtàkì àti ìwúlò ètò tí a pè ní WASA náà. Ní ìpínlẹ̀ Edo, gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Edo Monday Ọ̀pẹ́bọlọ̀ ti ṣàlàyé wípé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tí àwọn ń gbé láti pinwọ́ ìwà ìjínigbé, ìṣẹ̀gbẹ́ òkùnkùn àti àwọn ìwà ọ̀daràn mìíràn ló ti ń so èso rere báyìí. Ó ṣàlàyé wípé ìṣèjọba òun ló ti náwó láti ra àwọn ohun èlò ètò ààbò ìgbàlódé, àwọn àpéjọ ọ̀tẹlẹ̀múyẹ́ àti ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Edo nígbà tí ó ń gbarata lórí ìfẹ̀hónúhàn tí àwọn ènìyàn agbègbè Ẹ̀pọ̀mà ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ ìwọ̀ oòrùn Ẹ̀sàn ṣe ni ó ti sọ wípé ìjínigbé ní ìjọba òun ti ṣe ìkápá rẹ̀ tí àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò sì ń lọ bọ̀ jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Gómìnà ṣàlàyé wípé ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ààbò kì í ṣe ohun tí a lè máa gbà bí ẹni gba ìgbà ọtí nítorí ó jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí ó ṣe pàtàkì, pẹ̀lú àfikún wípé tí àwọn bá tètè ń sọ ìgbésẹ̀ tí ìjọba fẹ́ gbé yóò máa mú kí àwọn àṣeláàbí náà máa wà ní ìgbáradì ṣáájú àkókò ọ̀hún. Nígbà tí ó ń ṣàlàyé wípé lóòótọ́ ni òun mọ̀ wípé ẹ̀tọ́ wọn ni láti fi ìhónú wọn hàn lórí àwọn ohun tí kò bá tẹ́ wọn lọ́rùn, àmọ́ ó rọ̀ wọ́n láti mú sùúrù kí wọ́n sì fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò àti ìjọba kí wọ́n má sì ṣe hu ìwà tí kò bá òfin mu nínú ìfẹ̀hónúhàn wọn. Olórin jùjú ni Wàsíù Àyìndé Marshal Kwamwan ní ìròyìn fi yé wa wípé ó ti kọ lẹ́tà sí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ìyẹn ọmọọba Abíọ́dún lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti yọ orúkọ rẹ̀ kúrò nínú àwọn ọmọ oyè tí ń díje du ìjókòó ọba Àwùjalẹ̀ ti ilẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú. Lérè Ọláyínká tó jẹ́ amúgbálẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ àgbà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àfiléde sí mínísítà tí ń ṣojú olú ìlú ilẹ̀ wa Nyesom Wike ló fọ̀rọ̀ náà léde fún àwọn oníròyìn. Ọláyínká ló fi ọ̀rọ̀ náà sí ojú òpó abẹ́yẹfò X rẹ̀ tí ó fi sọ di mímọ̀ wípé nínú lẹ́tà tí Kwamwan kọ sí gómìnà Abíọ́dún ló fi àìdùnnú rẹ̀ hàn bí wọ́n ṣe yọ orúkọ rẹ̀ kúrò nínú ọmọye tí ó sì ní ìgbésẹ̀ ìfọ̀bàjẹ́ náà gbọ́dọ̀ lọ lábẹ́ òfin. Mọ̀lẹ́bí, ará, ọ̀rẹ́ àti àwọn abánikẹ́dùn gbogbo ni wọ́n péjọ sí ibi fìdáwò olóògbé dókítà Abdulgafar Kamal Okunlọ́lá tó jẹ́ ọ̀gá àgbà àjọ ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó rí sí ètò ọ̀gbìn lọ́nà ìgbàlódé incam tó wáyé ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó wà lágbègbè Fàtẹ̀ láti gbàdúrà kí Ọlọ́run ṣe ikú ní ìsinmi fún un. Abdulateef Owólẹ́wà wà níbẹ̀ fún iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV tí ó sì jábọ̀ wípé olóògbé náà ló jẹ́ ọmọ Sheikh Mohammed Kamaldeen tó jẹ́ olùdásílẹ̀ ìjọ Ansaro Islam ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ló kídínà pé ó dìgbà ní ẹni ọdún 69 ìmáàmù mọ́ṣáláṣí Masingba Labib Nababa ló darí àwọn jàmáà nínú àdúrà pàtàkì náà. Nínú wáàsí rẹ̀, ẹni tí ó jẹ́ mísánná àgbà fún ìjọ Ansar Islam ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí Àṣeyí Kamafi Ayára sọ wípé ikú ni ó jẹ́ ìgbẹ̀yìn gbogbo ènìyàn. Ọlọ́run Allah sì fi ikú sílẹ̀ láti lè fi títóbi rẹ̀ hàn ni. Ó ṣàpèjúwe olóògbé náà bí ẹni tí ó jẹ́ aládarí rere, onífẹ̀ẹ́ àti ẹni tí ó lo gbogbo agbára àti ipò tí ó ní láti fi sin Ọlọ́run àti ẹ̀dá ọmọnìyàn nígbà ayé rẹ̀, tí ó sì rọ àwọn jàmáà láti mú ẹ̀kọ́ rere kọ́ nínú ìwà olóògbé ọ̀hún. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀ náà, ìmáàmù àgbà ìlú Ọ̀fà Àṣeyí Muideen Salman bá àwọn ènìyàn sọ̀rọ̀ láti ṣe pẹ̀lẹ́ ní gbogbo ìgbà kí ayé lè rọrùn láti gbé fún wọn. Lára àwọn àlejò tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn ilé-iṣẹ́ yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ni wọ́n ní olóògbé amójú ẹ̀rọ Abdulgafar Kamal gbé ìgbé ayé tó kéré lóòótọ́ àmọ́ ó la ipa rere nínú ayé. Wọ́n gba àwọn ọmọ níyànjú láti mú ìwà bàbá wọn lò nínú ìṣẹ̀mí ayé wọn kí wọ́n sì di òpó Ọlọ́run ọ̀pọ̀ ohun tí àwọn ènìyàn ti sọ mọ́ nípa bàbá wọn. Olóògbé amójú ẹ̀rọ Abdulgafar Okunlọ́lá Kamaldeen ló fi ayé sílẹ̀ lẹ́ni ọdún 69 tó sì fi ìyàwó, àwọn ọmọ àti mọ̀lẹ́bí sílẹ̀ táyé lọ. Àgbà aládùúrà kí Ọlọ́run Allah ṣe ikú ní ìsinmi fún wọn kí ó sì tu àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí nínú. Pẹ̀lú ìròyìn la fi máa dánu dúró fún ti àṣálẹ̀. Ganiat Adédèjì Abomire.
Thank you so much for being part of the news. But before we go, a quick one from the languages desk.
Labari belozo ni wọn àgọ́ abúnugan sáìsùn ẹ̀ ṣékèrè labari lábẹ́ ẹ̀ náà sáìlà ṣùkọ́lá ń dùn lórí Fatima Mohammed ngala labari ń ṣe rẹ̀.
Títí di ọ̀la tẹ́tù máa pàdé wa fún ìròyìn àti ètò lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan láti lè ṣe móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Fọláṣadé Adélábí ló ń sọ pé ó dàárọ̀, orin rẹ̀ làásùn ọ̀kan làó jí.
Thank you for staying with us on Kwara TV News tonight. Join us tomorrow 8 a.m. for our flagship current affairs show, AM Drive, and 12 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. for more updated bulletin. Until then, I am Zachariah Surakat. Thank you for watching.
I am Ganiat Ilufe Adedeji. Good evening. Thanks for watching us. Have a productive week ahead.